I'd like to call the order of the Parks Board meeting for Monday, February 28th. Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Bennett, you want to lead us?
You got it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Play ball.
Attaboy. I can always count on you. Do we have any citizens' comments down there, young man?
No, sir. No comments tonight.
Would you like to make? Never mind.
No, I won't make any comments. Thank you.
I will look for an approval for the minutes of last meeting. Ms. Heads first. Mr. Golden second. Did I do that all right, Mr. Gilly?
Yes, sir.
All in favor say aye. All opposed? All right. Under old business park project. Oh, well, before we start, you'll notice there's one big difference we have up here, and we're glad to have it, and we're excited to have it. We've all changed seats. So other than that, this is Miss Rathert. Welcome to our board, and she asked me if I would call her Mrs., and I will do that once, and that'll be it. It'll be Miss from now on, and I'm sorry. So that's all right. All right, now then, under old business park project updates, Mr. Gilly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would say we're about 98%, maybe 99% complete on the hockey project. The leagues are playing, and we have tournaments the 19th and 26th with teams coming from out of town. Memorial Park fountain renovation, I guess is the way to put that. We've had a pre-construction meeting. We're just, once we get purchase order, we'll be ready to move on that. It's going to be a nice update. We've also accepted bids and are about ready to go out to purchase the LED messenger sign for Exit 7. That's going to be a fantastic upgrade, especially for our maintenance staff, where we don't have to have banners hanging everywhere all over the place. I can't wait for that. You'll notice Veterans Park Field 3, where beach softball plays. They've done a lot of work the last 2 weeks over there to get ready. We're about ready to let them have the infield to practice on. The dugouts and the backstop are not quite complete yet, but the county is working well on that. And we're still waiting on quotes that'll be coming over the next few days for security cameras at the soccer concession, along with shade structures back there if any soccer people are watching this update. And I'll take any questions about park projects if anybody has them.
2, 3, 4. Thank you, Mr. Gilly.
Yes, sir.
Under new business, letterboxing, Karen Walters. Hi there. Is that little button pushed down, ma'am?
Got
It's
it.
now, state your name and go.
Hi, I'm Karen Walters. I'm a former educator here from in Sumner County, so I've been invested in the community for a couple decades now, and now that I'm not an educator and I'm retired, I'm advocating tonight for the Girl Scout troop 2375, and I'd like to show you what they want to do, and I'd also like to show you what they've given to your community, okay? What they're still planning on giving. First of all, just a show of hands up here, how many of y'all are already familiar with letterboxing? Okay, yeah, good, Jeremy. I'm glad. Met Jeremy the other night. So, all right, so here we go. This is on behalf. I am not a troop leader. My daughter is a troop leader. I am the troop leader, Mimi, okay? So I go around, do all the legwork and get stuff together and promote, and, you know, what my baby daughter calls, she's not a baby anymore, she calls me up, Mom, I need this. I'm like, I'm on it. So I'm just so glad she's a troop leader, because I was her troop leader when she was that age. So here we go. Whoops, here we don't go. All right, here is a picture of the troop. They're cleaning up the pictures on the right there, cleaning up Lock 3. They had a cleanup day and got a badge for that. On the left-hand side, they had a Susan B. Anthony bike parade at the library park. So that's just one way, and they've done several other projects too. So that's your future Hendersonville leaders. And Darren knows them very well. They go to his school, so we're just so proud that I didn't know Darren was on the Parks Board, so excited. Uh-oh, hold on. Okay, what is letterboxing? If you didn't know, I'm not going to read it to you. It's been around for a long time. It's a growing hobby where the girls hike, they treasure hunt, and the difference, I know some of you guys are going, well, I know geocaching. It's kind of like that, but we don't leave anything behind, okay? So, they're going to hike, they're going to treasure hunt, and they're going to have some creative expression. Whole families can go, and I'll get more into that in just a minute. The Girl Scouts and other Girl Scouts will know about this through a website that's on a national database. They seek out the hidden letterboxes following clues that they search for. Then they record their discovery in their personal journal with their own stamp, and then they take the stamp from the letterbox and they stamp their own journals, okay? So basically, that's what it is. All right, why letterboxing? Why do the girls want to do this? It's one of their badges. So letterboxing, right there, there's a page right straight out of the Brownie manual for you to look at. So that tells you they have, you can, go in far as depth as you want, or you can just do those basic steps. So this is, of course, it takes some planning, and I did want to, pull at your heartstrings tonight and bring some Girl Scouts and Brownies, but they are all at gymnastics tonight, so. Okay, where are the clues? Okay, if you go to letterboxing.org and you get an account, you can go on there and you can sign up and put your clues on there, okay? And I think, I can't see that far away, people, but I think the top one is Hendersonville, maybe. Is that correct? Anybody close to that? Okay. Well, and there was a letterboxing station at Drake's Creek long ago. I think it's become inactive, and there was one at Little Rock Castle, and I think that's become inactive over the years too. So, trying to revive it and help the girls use their navigating skills that they learned at Girl Scout camp last summer. Okay, so when you log on there and you get your clues, our goal is for them to use their navigation clues with their compass, their orienteering skills that they learned. So, of course, I can't put anything on there yet because I haven't been given permission by you guys. But you can do written clues, or you can do using compass. So that's kind of what it looks like right there. Okay, how it looks. That's it. It's a Tupperware box with the stamp in it and a little piece of paper that says you found a letter box. And that's how it looks, and they have their own journal and their own stamp to exchange. Okay, so here's what is involved, what they need, what the Girl Scouts need. I admit the third bullet might be, a little much, but they really like it. They get excited. Oh my goodness, we've got to have hiking shoes and gloves. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth bullet, we do have a code of conduct for this. I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. So that's what they'll need to do it. It's real low maintenance. Okay, the location of the box. Well, Jeremy, Andy, and I went over there, what was that, guys, last Thursday? And I had full intentions of taking them to the place where I decided I was going to put the letterbox. It was flooded. We couldn't even get to it. So where it's going to be, it's behind the dog park. Okay, and it's kind of in an open area because Andy and I discussed some of the inherent dangers that could possibly come along with letterboxing, but it's a super, super safe place. It's kind of out in the open, and it's 3 trees that grow together, so it'll be down in the cavity of those trees. There is the code of conduct for the girls. If you see, it's very ecologically oriented to protect any wildlife and to protect them, protect any vegetation, just whole environmental protection and protection for themselves too. Of course, the only people that are going to know about this is anybody that goes on the letterboxing website. So hopefully, I think Jeremy brought up that hopefully when people come from out of town to visit, they'll go, oh, letterboxing, because the only people that know about it are the people that are interested. Plus, if we get accepted to do this, we plan on telling the other Girl Scout troops in Sumner County, so they can earn this badge too. Nobody can earn it because there's no letterboxes. Okay, so there are pictures of your troop leaders, future leaders from Troop 2375. And last summer, they all went to camp, and they learned how to do orienteering with their compasses. So I'm the only one that does not know how to do orienteering with the compass and write up the clues. So I got my homework ahead of me. So thanks, guys, for letting me do this for the girls. And they love y'all, and I'm sorry they couldn't come tonight.
I was going to give you a few minutes to look at the paperwork where she said everything there was to say.
Yeah. Do y'all have any questions?
And you said the location of it would be, is a safe space, it's
Oh,
open and-
absolutely. Yeah, it's, well, I plan on when I give the clues, if we get passed for this, to do it the long way. So they've got to cross the bridge and go all the way. So it's like right behind the dog park, and there's a large open area that's maybe, 15 feet or 20 feet from the trail. Like, so they're always in constant. And, yeah, it's a real good spot. They don't have to dig or anything. It's down in this tree. So, my daughter, she is super, I can't speak for the other troop leaders, but she's overboard, I guess. Mr. Frank's going, yeah, she is. Kidding. So, she will be very aware. She was a biology major in college. So, all the inherent dangers of wildlife or snakes or anything, that will be totally cleared out.
You have any liability problems of any kind?
They have to sign a waiver
Okay.
from the website.
Okay. Any other questions? I'll hear a motion to approve.
I have a question.
Who is it? Oh, no, he doesn't count. Okay, no, go ahead, Mr. Brown.
I have somewhat of a liability question. And you may have said this, but I don't see it. Is this box out there for a period of time when these girls are working through this? Is it out there permanently and you can look this up and go by, see the box? Here's the reason for my question. If I'm walking through there and I see the box and I get real curious about what that is, then I could do a lot of things with that box.
Yeah, you're not going to see the box.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
That was one of the things that we liked about this program is that the only people that are going to know it's there are the people that are actually looking for it, where we have so many issues with different things where people vandalize it because it's out there in the open. That's what I like about this is it's hidden. The only people who are going to know it's there are the Girl Scouts.
Okay, so there's no happen chance I could find that box if I'm just walking through the park?
Well, unless you like to dig around in trees.
Never know.
I know. I mean, I can't speak for the world, but that's basically it. I mean, you've got to really go and, get in there and look.
Okay.
I thought the
when
same thing he did. I've got a grandson that can find anything. It doesn't matter, so.
Yeah, well, there's nothing of harm in the box. There's a paper journal and a rubber stamp.
You made your point. Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions?
I make a motion to approve.
Mr. Golden first, Mr. Bowler second. All in favor say aye. Oh, discussion first. Anybody else want to discuss that?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us, do you know where the closest one of these two here is?
I
mean
don't
to
think
put you
they're
on
in
the spot.
service anymore, but there was one at Little Rock Castle, and there was one at Drake's Creek
That's right.
Park.
You told me there was one at
But
Rock Castle.
when you get on the website, when you have your account and you have access to that information, it'll say the last time it was found.
Okay.
So, and it's been quite a while, so I'm imagine that they've either washed away or, just have been out there for so long. I mean, I'm going to put ours in a Ziploc bag, a gallon Ziploc bag, but, yeah, it's Tupperware bowl.
Thank you.
It can only weather itself so long.
Who was the motion in the second, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Golden. I thought I said it fine.
Sorry.
No, it was my fault. Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
did a
you,
wonderful
guys.
job.
The Girl Scouts are going to be so happy. I'll send y'all some pictures, okay?
Thank you. Okay. Usgf Tournament, Shane Yoakum.
Hi,
That would be
that's-
Dwight's brother, I think.
Not quite, but thank you. So my name is Shane Yoakum. I currently am director for USGF, which is United Southern Girls Fast Pitch Association. I host 30 to 35 tournaments a year here in the Middle Tennessee area. This organization was started by Debbie LeBeers, who passed away this past year from COVID, and she was my sister-in-law. So I took it over and started promoting the tournaments for Debbie in her memory. So basically, it's youth girls 18 to 6-year-old to 18. 3 classes, A, B, and C class. So divide them out for safety to kind of help them to understand that I don't want A class playing against C class because there could be injuries. I promote scholarships, growth for college, recruitment for college, and I start tournaments March 12th, and I go all the way through November the 15th this year. So I do a lot of tournaments here locally, with the intent, of course, to promote the girls' growth. And also, I have at least 2 tournaments each year that is going to give scholarships to the girls, and also one for Debbie's daughter, who is in college, and she is to help her with her tuition in college. So that's kind of nutshell kind of what I do, and I'm looking for to host some tournaments in Huntsville. It will bring anywhere from 30 to 80 teams each tournament, so it will help the not only just the park rentals and the folks who are associated with parks, but also your community. For sometimes it will be overnight, sometimes it will just be a one-day tournament, but either way it will bring in money for revenue for fast food, and some will stay overnight regardless in hotels, and so it will help your overall economy. And that's kind of in a nutshell what I'm doing. I'm looking for a couple of fields this year. I think it's my first year. Debbie, I don't know that she was able to get any fields there. At one point, I think she was looking at it, but it wasn't easy for her to take a gate. And I think that I don't do a gate where I collect at the gate. I just do an overall team gate fee, and that it's a flat fee that they pay, and that way I don't have to have people situated at any part of the park to collect a gate. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I've been involved with sports and softball for 25 years at least. I play adult softball on traveling teams throughout the United States. I serve on a national organization board for softball, and in a finance committee for that organization. So I open it up to see if there's any questions you have of me of what I'm looking for, and I think you may hopefully we can have some tournaments there in Hendersonville, sorry.
I see that says if there's a rain out, try to move to Sunday. Is that a viable option?
Basically, he has asked for, Wade and I spoke to him on the phone a little bit before this to get everything sort of lined up or to try to help the process. He's looking for one-day tournaments. Usually when people come in, it's either Saturday, Sunday, or all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. For this first year, he's requesting 2 dates with 1 day each tournament. And he marked, actually on the application, the baseball quad, 6 through 11. We have him penciled in for the softball quad because it's more of a softball tournament. So basically, he's still looking at 5 fields total, but it will probably be at the softball quad instead of the baseball quad. And we could look at options for Sunday. Don't want to guarantee everything for our Sunday, but we would definitely look at options for Sunday if it does rain out on Saturday. But
Makes sense.
we've generally in the office have penciled in the 2 Saturdays that he has listed.
Okay. Any
Chairman, I got I have
Yes,
a question.
Mr.
Yeah,
Cole.
okay, just a couple of questions. But first one, what organization is this? Is this through a private organization, a 501c3? Who's
It's
the
a
actual
private
organizing body of this
organization.
tournament? Go ahead, sorry. Sorry, I didn't
It
hear.
is a private organization. Yeah, it's USGF is owned solely by me. It is a it's not I'm not 501c. I'm for profit.
Okay. Yeah, that leads to my next sort of question. You talked about it, that you indicated that it's a for-profit event, but also a charitable fundraiser,
Correct.
and that it will benefit individuals. I think you spoke to that being scholarships. Can you help me understand
Sure.
what is that? Yeah, how does that work? And you said also it
Yep.
depends on proceeds. Can you give us a little clarity on that?
Certainly. So what I do is for two tournaments, at least two tournaments, it'll be 3 this year, but for two, I work with an organization, Columbia Fast Pitch, Girls Fast Pitch is one of them, and the other is going to be with the Debbie Vivere's Memorial Fund, and that is basically going to be go to the organization that provides scholarships to children, to youth girls who play softball. So it's to help promote them to move forward in their in playing softball in college. I basically don't make money on those tournaments. I just donate all the proceeds. I provide the labor. I provide my time, my scheduling, the fields. I pay for the fields and everything, and just donate everything to those organizations.
Any other questions?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Yoakum, this is Andy Gilly. I'm the Parks Director.
Yeah.
Couple of questions. Do you have a website for your tournament?
Yes, usgfp.com. That's usgfp.com.
Thank you. And does that list, when you get ready and start taking registration, does that list who's coming and where they're from, things like that?
Yeah. So if you click on calendar, it lists all of my tournaments
Yeah.
there, and it shows. And if you click into the tournament, it'll show the teams that have already registered.
Right.
A lot of the registrations happen just like a week before the tournament. It seems there are some that will go ahead and give me out their yearly, but I do list those on the website.
Sure.
You can click in it and see the teams that are coming.
And then you had on here, you understood the vendor fee. Would you have any vendors selling things at the tournament or anything that you know
Not currently.
of? Okay.
Not currently, no.
I know sometimes one days nobody does that, but
Yeah.
the other thing
I
I
intend to get sponsors overall that will, but that's not going to be for this year. This is my first year to have it after Debbie passed away. So
Bless you.
this is my first year, but I will have sponsors, and I'm hoping that I can get some scholarship sponsors for sure, and some recruitment
So,
coaches.
typically, I'm not going to speak for the Parks Board, but I know what some of them are about to ask you, so I'll just go ahead and do it for them.
Okay.
Typically, when people, especially when it's for-profit people, book tournaments in our park, the Parks Board is going to require, however you want to call it, that you partner with a local civic group that uses our parks. So where you've got nonprofits that would benefit, I would highly suggest that, I would say that's probably going to be part of the Parks Board's motion here in a minute, that if they approve, that they'll probably ask you to partner with one of our local groups that uses the park. And the reason for that is those groups take the money that you're able to help them with and put it back in the park.
Right. Yes,
I don't know that
I'm
we
aware.
want to help. I like Columbia. It's a nice town, but I don't know that they're going to vote to approve something that's going to benefit Columbia's softball team. If that makes sense. Just
Well,
want
yeah,
to prepare
I mean,
you for that question here in a minute, probably.
Well, thank you. I'm already aware of that, and Wade talked to me about that, and
Good.
So did David today. So
Okay, good. Perfect. You talked to David Winter today?
via email, yes.
Good, with the Civitan Club.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I will entertain a motion to approve, but I'd like, if you make that motion, to voice it pertaining to what Mr. Gilly said. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion that we approve this based on a amount before we, let me start over. I make a motion that we approve this based on an amount decided on, given back to the Civitan if that's who they choose to do it with. But that needs to be done before this tournament goes off, and it needs to be, I'm good with it going through through Keith or whoever's going to be over this, but I think that needs to be part of the motion. It needs to be based on that amount coming up with before this tournament is played. Does that work?
Let me clean that up,
I was gonna say,
or try to help you clean that up. I think what you're trying to say is you're making a motion to approve this event based on USGF reaching an agreement to partner with the Hendersonville Civitan Club for a share of proceeds
don't be,
prior to the event.
don't feel bad, Pike, that's why he makes the big bucks. I've got a motion, do I have a second? Mr. Head, second. Any other discussion about the project or the motion?
I have, just again, nothing about this particular group, organization, or of any kind, just for the sake of consistency. Usually when we have sort of, even if it's a for-profit organization doing some type of charity organization, there's a little bit more clarity on exactly what's going to be done with the funds. My concerns is as far as using our park facilities without some understanding of, I don't know, they could go to someone's, personal friend for a scholarship, et cetera. So there just seems to me that is a bit of a odd, maybe on the, so maybe anyone who's had more conversations, or perhaps Mr. Yoakum, you can as well, provide any type of insight that would help me with that.
Yeah, the organization is called Columbia's Girls Fast Pitch Scholarship Project. So that's the one and it happens on September 17th. That's the one for Columbia, and it is listed on the website. You can see that on my website under calendars. So that will take care of, I think maybe the lady who is over there is named April, and she works for the city of Columbia, and she also has a league that she has that benefits from this. So in other words, she plays on, I think it is Sundays in Columbia, and that organization will gets all the proceeds from this tournament that's listed on my website on 9/17. I don't know if that answers what you were asking, but it's not something that's just I'm going to give to an individual. I'm giving to a particular group called Columbia Girls Fast Pitch.
Got it. And that organization would then distribute these scholarships how they see fit. So it's benefiting that organization.
That is correct. They would distribute it to the individuals of that league that they do. So it's that organization, that Fast Pitch Scholarship organization.
And I would just say too, he's looking at 2 dates. So I mean, with this being a new group that we're working with too, I mean, we're looking at 2 different dates. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But also with the fact of the matter is after everything's done, we could provide those insights. So if there's something that we want from an insight at the end of the year after the 2 events, I can request that from Mr. Yoakum to provide to the Parks Board.
Yeah, no, I understand. My concern is if it's just an individual giving it to other individuals, that accountability doesn't really come back to this board, and that's all. That seemed a bit odd to me, but that's going to benefit an organization. We've seen that before in front of this board. So, thanks, Wade.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? I looked at you this time.
I'm going to repeat the motion.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to repeat the motion.
Thank you, sir. You're a good man.
Motion would be to approve the USGF softball tournaments based on them reaching an agreement with the Hendersonville Civitan Club for share of proceeds prior to the event happening.
Does that suit your motion, Mr. Point? Yes. Thank you, sir. All right, I've got the buzz. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? No. I have one opposed, have a voice vote here. Mr. Head? Yes. Mr. Bowler? Yes. Mr. Pike? Yes. Mr. Golden?
Yes.
Mr. Frank?
No.
That's a no. Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Rimmert?
Ms. Rathert? Yes.
Yeah, I'll get it wrong 12 times.
Okay, that's okay.
Did you note all of those, Mr.
I do vote, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to vote no, just because of the liability that looks like it's in there.
Well, I will say this too. I do carry $2 million of liability insurance for any event that I have. So I'm covered if there's any problems or accidents or park damage or anything. So I carry $2 million of liability.
All right, motion passes by a majority. And you got all of them listed down, Mr.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Tennessee Music Pathway Marker, Lefty Frizzell, Ashley DeRossi, Ashley, hey there. That's not Ashley there, I don't think.
No, that's us.
Hey, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
You look mysteriously like me.
Well, you probably don't want to see all the girls tumbling in gymnastics, so that's the life I live after work. But we have, as many of y'all know, Hendersonville and Sumner County has been blessed with many Tennessee Music Pathway markers. The majority of them are located in the parks within Hendersonville. And we have a marker that is ready to be installed. Lefty Frizzell. Lefty was a resident of Hendersonville for some time before he passed away. And so we have been talking with Andy and Barry Young in Sumner County, who we consider our partners as destination marketing organizations, to really create something around music in the parks. We're not there yet. And I know Andy has dreams that there's a lot more markers coming to Hendersonville. But this is the one that we're focusing on now, and that would be Lefty Frizzell. And we have talked about Saunders Ferry Park, which also has been named recently within the Bill Dance project that Tennessee Department of Tourism is working on as well. So just wanted to put that up for consideration, and I know Andy's there and he has information on it as well, but if I can answer any questions, I'd be happy to.
Just to fill you all in further, when one of these things comes our way from the state, it's very vetted with the family of the artist or the family of the group that is receiving it. The Frizzells lived off of Saunders Ferry Road, and kind of, if we're looking for park space beyond their house, which is not park space, then Saunders Ferry is the closest spot. So, like Ashley said, you know, we've had our own people, and then we've kind of gotten to steal some of these from other counties, because people who may have been from another county lived here for a long time and consider this home. So I could see that happening more and more, and then we'll have some of our own bigger name people as well, hopefully. Ashley's tired of me asking probably at this point, but you know, we want our people recognized all throughout the state. But the one we did for Johnny Cash Saturday, I would say, has been noticed all over the world at this point, because once it got posted on Mr. Cash's family Facebook page, it went worldwide. And people from all over the country literally will come here and take these pathways that the state has set up. It's kind of a unique thing that they've done. I appreciate them doing it. So your motion would be to approve this location for the Frizzell marker at Saunders Ferry Park, should you choose to make it.
You had adequate time to look that over? Ladies and gentlemen, I looked at you that time. Okay. I'm all over this.
I motion to approve.
Mr. Bennett is the motion. I have a second. Mr. Pike down there, I believe he beat you, Mr. Bowler. Did you get that, Pike and Bowler? He yelled at me, so I'm gonna have to be careful about that. All right. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Unanimous?
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, ma'am. TUSC Adult Soccer Tournament, Mr. Henson? That would be Mr. Henson.
I'm not Mr. Henson. I'm Mr. Whalen.
Close enough.
That's all right. I'll go by that. No,
I
I
use an
was
alias too, so don't worry about it.
I was put in this role tonight. Andy, what do I need to go through everything, or has everybody seen it? Do I need to?
They have seen the packet. You can kind of tell them what this adult soccer tournament is, I think would be good, and then they need to understand the whole beer garden component of it as well.
Okay.
You should have two handouts on your desk, one in color and one that's not so in color. The one that's kind of more black and white lists a second exit and also points out where security would be inside the beer garden when we get to a discussion on that point. But I'll let Jonathan kind of tell you what they have in mind and tell us how it came to Hendersonville, and it's been in other places too.
Yep. My name's Jonathan Whalen. I'm Director of Operations for Tennessee United Soccer Club here in town. We've got 1,100 players at this point, and we've really kind of tried to be a kind of a cradle-to-grave program with our U5s all the way through our adults component. And right now we've got probably 100 plus adults that play throughout the winter and into the spring that are a part of our group that is kind of a kick-around group. And there's a group chat, and anytime somebody wants to play and has a gym and a place to play, they get together. And with that, kind of the idea for an adult soccer tournament was kind of put in front of us and said, hey, would you guys be willing to do this? There's a large tournament in Asheville, North Carolina, Labor Day weekend. We thought, well, why can't we do one on Memorial Day weekend? So we looked into it. We've reached out to the state association. The state association is behind it and has approved us being able to do an adult tournament. And so now we're coming before you to get approved to be able to do an adult soccer tournament on Memorial Day weekend at Drakes Creek. We're looking to, we really feel like between the relationships we've got from Nashville to Clarksville to Bowling Green to all across Tennessee, that we'll have a large tournament just kind of regionally, but there's a component to this that could be a national. There's teams that fly into Asheville every year to play in an adult soccer tournament. It'll be small-sided tournament, 7v7 and 8v8. There'll be different divisions of it. There'll be co-ed, there'll be women's, there'll be over 30, there'll be over 40, there'll be 5 or 6 different divisions of it based off of what we feel like we can draw per group. So that's kind of in a nutshell. It'll be a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday. And we feel like it'll draw the people wanting to come to Nashville that particular week or that weekend, or just come to Nashville. We feel like it'll draw a pretty good response.
I think I don't think you said this on the beer garden map. The beer garden only will be open from 6 to 10 on.
So do you want me to go? Is it kind of a combined thing?
Yeah,
okay.
do it all. You're getting approved here.
Here we go. All right. So along with this, one of the draws for an adult tournament is that you can have adult beverages as a part of it. We've been encouraged to try to see if we can do something like that. Like I said, the one in Asheville is called the Beer City Cup because of all the breweries there. In Asheville, it's a draw. We looked at trying to see what we could do. We've talked to Nate at Halfbatch because we wanted to partner with the Hendersonville group. He encouraged us to look into it and try to do it, and that he would be a part of it and help us put it together. So what we were looking to do would be from 6 to 9 on the Saturday evening, have 10 to 12 local breweries come out and have a beer tasting. And so a part of your registration would be an admission to this and it will also be open to the public. So we feel like if we 500 to 1,000 potentially players and families if they have with them, and then probably another 500 or so from the general public that we feel like would come out to this. That will be from 6 to 9. Well, it'll be open from 6 to 10. The tasting will be from 6 to 9. We've also reached out to and have partnered with Nashville Soccer Club that has an away game that night to be a watch party event at Drakes Creek. So that game starts at 8 o'clock. And so that would be 8 to 10. So the beer tasting would 6 to 9, and then the watch would be 8 to 10. We're looking to have music, and just, we're still kind of developing that idea a little bit, and the people that like to go to these type of things have given us great input. But we feel like we could get a lot of good interest from the people that are participating in the tournament, but also from just the community that would want to be a part of something like this.
And this is going to the beer board on Thursday?
Yes, we've been approved to go before the beer board. We have, in order to do that, you've got to go ahead and show your insurance. We've already been approved for liability insurance for the liquor license to do that. And we've already put in the application for the beer board on Thursday.
Mr. Bennett?
Hey, Jonathan. Is this all in here? So it's $700 per team, and it's $40 for individuals. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If an individual wants to purchase a tasting, you basically purchase a ticket to be able to come in, and you get 4-ounce pours, and you can go to and taste as many as you would like. Yes.
Will that be done online or at the event, or have you guys figured out the logistics?
Yeah,
for
we'll
that?
have a ticketing. So the registration will be through TeamSnap, which would be tournament registration
gotcha.
portion of it. The festival tasting will be through probably like a C-tickets or E-tickets or something like that we'll partner with to do that part. Yes.
So are we going to have, with everything that's already going on in the park that weekend, is this going to be feasible? I guess that's to Dallas and Keith and Andy.
From a field standpoint, we have nothing going on with soccer that weekend. The weekend before that will be our last weekend of rec soccer, and then the weekend after that will be our lacrosse tournament. So on the soccer fields, we do not have anything scheduled. I think last time we talked, we're talking about just using 12, 13, and 14. Is that still the plan, or will you need to use some of the front fields as well?
I think it depends on demand, but 12, 13, and 14, and then maybe 4.
Okay. So yeah, from a field standpoint at soccer, that won't be an issue.
Yeah, my concern was not so much the fields as it was the parking and the number of people, because typically the softball tournament that is that weekend is relatively a huge tournament, and then there's other things as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, we have both the baseball and softball quads reserved for a softball tournament that weekend. So it's parking. If he uses more than field 4 in the front, you could definitely run into some parking issues in there. Just a part of it.
I think last year the softball tournament had 21 teams that weekend. It wasn't too many. But with them being towards the back of soccer, I think we'll be okay.
Be a couple more minutes. Yes, Mr. Frank?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Yes, sir, go ahead. I'm sorry, let me interrupt. I'm assuming before you make that motion, we need to have it predicated on the beer board,
Yeah.
I think. Just put that caveat in there.
I make a motion to approve pending approval by the beer board.
I've got a first and a second by Ms.
Rathert.
Quit yelling at me. Discussion? I like you. You're all right. All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? You're there, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. The bike pump track, Mr. Berkery and Mr. Hardy. I have questions about this. State your name, sir, and go right ahead.
Push the button. There you go.
Okay, Grant Berkery and Matt Pomeranke. Just want to open by having you guys think of maybe an early childhood memory of bikes. Maybe you were riding to a friend's house for a sleepover, riding down the road for a burger and fries or something. But that's kind of two things that popped into my head when I was thinking about my childhood and bikes and how much fun I had on bikes. Then I got into BMX. I've done triathlons, road biking along the way. Now I've got my whole family into mountain biking. And what I want to do is offer the kids of Hendersonville a fun and unique venue to go ride their bikes at. And the idea would be to have this in Veterans Park, just to the side of the skate park that exists there already. And you can see that a little bit on the layout. This might change. It's a very rough draft, first time we put anything together. But a pump track has rollers and bank corners that you can carve through and ride through. And you can go from a 3-year-old on a balance bike that's pushing with their feet and no pedals all the way up to an adult that's, zipping in and out. So there's a larger space there on the left that will be the larger pump track, and then and then a smaller pump track that would be on the right for the kids to kind of separate the faster adults and the older teenage, faster kids from the younger ones. So we're excited about the opportunity. We've had some discussions with Andy, and we've worked with other people in the community, and we have a lot of support behind it. So we're just looking for permission and support, and we hope that we can get this through. There's a video that was included, if we can pull it up at all.
Sure.
It should have been to a YouTube link, and
They're moving very slowly.
it would give you an idea of what a pump track is and what it would mean to kids and how it would look and feel.
While Jason's pulling that up back there, give us an idea, if you give the Parks Board an idea of, these guys came and met with us 2 or 3 years ago, and then have kind of tried to come figure it out, basically. This area is at Veterans Park, beside the skate park that they're looking at. And to my understanding, they're talking about them funding it, not the city.
Yeah, we would go through the fund and go through and raise the funds for this project.
My question, I know Jeremy's probably going to want me to ask this, but in terms of maintenance, when these things are in other places, what do you all see as daily, weekly, monthly, yearly maintenance on these things? I know this can't be like a road in the city. Like, you get a pothole on this, we got to come pave it, right? I mean, we can't.
Yeah, but it's not as heavily trafficked, so it won't have the wear and tear that cars would cause to a road. But it would be made out of asphalt, which is the most durable material to make them out of. They last for a long time. The vendor would most likely be Pump Tracks USA, and they're a professional vendor that's done these all over America. Their website has more information on the different tracks that they've put in different cities. But it should be very low maintenance and only have some lawn mowing, type maintenance needed for it on a regular basis, I think.
Did they build the two that you listed on here? Do you know if Pump Tracks built the two that are in Tennessee?
Pump Tracks built Watkins Pump Track downtown Nashville, and the one in Baker Creek was built by another vendor I don't know the name of, but both are very nice pump tracks. You can roll the video so you can see.
So before you play that, Jason, just to let you all know what I think the path is here, the Parks Board would be voting to approve this space to be used for a bike pump track. Beyond that, it would have to go to the Public Works Committee and on to BOMA. Similar to what we did, I see Brian shaking his head out there, similar to what we did with rugby or Mary's Magical Place. When we have a group come in that wants to build something, you all would be voting to say, okay, we think that's a good space. Public Works would have to vote to say, okay, we think that's a good space. We think that it'll work as far as drainage and other things. That they'll look at it more heavily than you all will. at that point, and any permitting or anything like that. And then BOMA would ask questions about ongoing maintenance costs and who's responsible for those, and those kind of things. I'm trying to just lay out the path of success for you all. One thing to consider is that we do use that area a lot for parking. I do think we've made strides to open up parking up the road on the across from the school somewhat, hopefully in the future. Now you can play the video.
This will not have audio.
Be a great video then.
Oh, I can do that. What is the surface made of?
The foundation underneath it would be all dirt or some type of fill material, and then the surface is asphalt, but very fine grain asphalt, so it's smooth.
Okay.
Yeah. And it can be used by primarily bikes, of course, but also skateboards, scooters, rollerblades, so multi-use venue. We've got, we've got support from Rogers Group to help out with fill material. We've got support from the Rotary Club to help us do the fundraising, and a couple other, local groups that are going to help us get through all the different phases of this. So that's part of the plan as well.
Does it have to have grass in between the asphalt?
No, not at all. I've seen them with full out
I'm just thinking
paved.
about for our maintenance guys.
Yeah, to box it in with pavement.
Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, we wouldn't want that maybe, but something that we don't have to get out and mow or maintain or worry about washing over on the
Yeah, when I look
asphalt.
when I look over at that, I just see a lot of weed eating, and we don't staffing issues with weed eating, of course. To me, if it was built on a concrete surface, if you had a concrete surface and then you built that and it was all properly drained, I mean, that makes more sense to me than all the dirt and the grass, and I just don't think it would look. You got to remember, everybody that drives through Sumner County is on 386 looking over at that.
Yep.
And I would just caution that side of it, that's everybody looks at that park when they drive down 386. And I'm going to bring up this constantly, but parking, that's my next issue over there too.
Yeah. At the Watkins Pump Track downtown, any given weekend I've seen 20 to 40 riders down there, and I've seen 15 to 20 cars maybe. So it's not a huge use of space on parking side, and it would be nights and weekends when this gets used. I know sometimes there's going to be baseball tournaments there, but another thing that would pull away from the parking is that it would be accessible via the greenway. So if people are parking further upstream on the greenway, that would help, and it would tie in really well there.
So you're thinking it would be lit also then?
There's potential, yeah, that we could, if the funds are there, to add 1 or 2 lights so that it can be lit up at night. Yeah, kind of like the skate park is lit as well with a couple lights. So yeah.
When Mary's, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you go ahead.
When Mary's Place started, it was supposed to be 5,000 square feet, and then it's now 15,000 square feet. So what is y'all's dimensions?
We still need to fine tune that. We do have that initial drawing, but I do know that the Watkins punt track, the straightaways are about 160 feet, and there's 4 straightaways that are kind of boxed in a rectangle. So there was some satellite measurements done on this part of the property by Pump Tracks USA, and the length of the northwest corner, the top left of that picture there, would be about 170 feet, I think is what they drew up on there. So it would cover close up into that corner, but I think the black pavement with the green grass around it looks really nice, and I think that people driving by on 386 would see this and find it to be a fun spot for families, moms and kids and dads and kids and all that. So.
Do you have any idea how other cities have maintained it? Is it just weed eating? Have they had any problems?
Push your button.
Almost tipped it over. Do you know of other towns, how they've maintained it? Have they, at the other parks?
Down at Watkins, they put in some shrubs and plants in the middle to fill in some of those areas. But mostly it would just be mowing around it, and then however the Parks Department wants to landscape it inside will be fine for us. And whatever's low maintenance and easy to maintain, we'd be on board with that.
Okay. Mr. Bowler?
So what's your involvement going to be when the project is completed?
As far as using it?
Will we see you guys again?
I don't think we'd have any additional requests of the Parks Department, but there's no membership for this. There's no organization of races or anything at this like there would be at a BMX track, so it's free and open for everyone in the community to use. So I think that's a good plus for it. I'd be out there every weekend with my kids. I've got 3 kids. We mountain bike together. My wife's about to buy a mountain bike, so we'd be out there using it. We've spent probably out of the last 6 weekends, I've been down to the Watkins pump track in Nashville at least 3 times. And it's a year-round facility. Like I just said, we've been through rain and snow and everything in the past couple months. And when we can't make it to Lock 4 or the Warrior Trail, we can't make it on the mountain bike trails because they're all muddy, then we'll be at the pump track enjoying it. So, yeah.
What's your estimated price tag?
I think that what I've heard about the Watkins pump track was that it was about $250,000. So that's probably a good ballpark for us. So it's going to be a significant fundraising effort, but we think we can do it.
Mr. Bennett?
The financial thing was one of my concerns too, but going back to Jeremy's thing about parking, on a Saturday great weekend at that park, you cannot find a parking place, and where it's supposed to go right here, there's people parking all in that grassy area. The inline soccer and inline hockey that we had over there, they're no longer there. This cannot go in that area, correct? Because of insurance?
That's probably a two-folded question. Insurance would probably frown upon it, maybe. I don't want to say yes or no. But what it would do is there's been a plan review at FEMA for 2 years for the plan to kind of protect Mary's Place. And if we went in and tried to do something like this over there with all these undulations and changing the flow of water, I'm afraid that might trigger another FEMA review, which I really don't want to start another 2-year process.
So what about at the Saunders Ferry where the old inline hockey rinks originally were years ago? It's still blacktopped already.
It's already got mountain biking and trails and stuff.
That would, and that park is not, we're looking to ways to improve using that park more. This would be a prime idea.
Mr. Golden?
It sounds like a very exciting opportunity. I think we should be trying to find ways to get more kinds of kids into our parks, and skateboarding and BMX and other things. We've got acres and acres of soccer fields and baseball fields. What do we have for those kind of kids? My question is about packing, that's my terms, but this is a very used area. Are there other opportunities, perhaps Beatty Farm or other places where we're not so compact in terms of traffic? That to me, without us knowing what's going to happen perhaps with the space near Mary's Magical Place where the hockey rinks are, I just worry about putting more pressure on that space just from a traffic flow. That's my question. Maybe you can address that or not, but that's my question overall to the board.
I think I want to piggyback off of that as well. Several years ago, we had a BMX track down at the park.
Yes, sir.
And the bikers will probably throw things at me. I was a leader in trying to get rid of that, mainly because it just wasn't greatly used. But like Mr. Golden said, we got to find ways to get families and kids together.
Yeah.
And if I'd rather them be at one of these things at a mall or sitting in front of a market or something. So
I agree.
I don't have a vote, but I'm all for it. But I am concerned about parking because these guys and the Board of Mayor and everybody else gets drilled when people have trouble getting in and out of the park. So
I understand. Yeah, we would be open to considering different venues, different areas that you guys, different parks that you have that this may fit into well. And I've seen what it can do. One of the barriers to BMX is money. It's $60 a year for membership. It's $7 every time you practice. It's $12 every time you race. And when I started to multiply that out across my family, paying that for all the kids, it got to be hard. So, but there's Bentonville, Arkansas is a great example of how they've taken bikes and trails, and not extreme mountain bike trails, but a bike playground is another idea that you guys could Google, and you'll quickly find ideas on it. But bike playgrounds, pump tracks, trails off the side of greenways, kind of using the things that you already have and just adding some features to it so that everyone can enjoy it.
Would you all, I've asked twice, I've been interrupted.
I think it's a great idea, right? I think that'd be a real addition to the community. I don't think this is a good location for it. I think we're trying to shoehorn something in an already very crowded spot. What we have the board and the city have made a big commitment at the Beatty Farm, and we're putting in some trails right now, and that might be a fantastic spot to hit it all the way around.
Okay.
And then that would give, again, BMX and skateboard enthusiasts another location in town to be able to go to. So it wouldn't just say, well, you have this one space. This obviously is an ideal spot visibility-wise, but that, in a way, would only exacerbate the problem. You want it to get used, but at the same time, this is a very, very crowded spot. So.
Yep.
it's just my opinion. If you're insisting on that one spot, I'm afraid you're going to get shut down as far as the folks up here. But we could either table this till next month. We could get with the people up here and try to maybe come up with a location for everybody and go from there.
Yeah, I would definitely take the feedback and consider any available locations that would work for parks and the community and the families that are going to be using it. So
let me offer what I think is a path. you can, everybody can take it or leave it. I'm just here to give advice, right? I think one path would be for us to come back in a month with 2 or 3 options, or one perfect option if we can figure it out. Maybe this is still an option. I don't know. But I think if you guys and someone that's an elected official is dead set on something fitting right here, no matter what the Parks Board does, it can go wherever. 7 votes of BOMA can do that. I think BOMA will take the advice of the Parks Board into great consideration too, though. So I don't want to see it go awry one way or the other. I think we got to figure out a way to figure out where match the interest of the community and the right location. Here's my concern about moving it to a location where we don't have infrastructure is parking, restrooms. Then you start driving the cost up of it. My concern about putting it somewhere down at the end of Saunders Ferry Park is being so remote where we've got a lot of young kids going there, and that's not something I really am fired up about, is creating a space for 12-year-olds to ride their bike to that's 20 minutes away from civilization. Mm-hmm. Not that that's 20 minutes away from civilization, but it's a long way for a police car to get down there if something happens. So if y'all are open to meeting with us, and I know we met with Jesse, I would be willing to do that again. I think he's for it also. Yes, sir. To figure out a way to get this done. We can come back in a month and maybe present a couple of options to the Parks Board.
And as far as me and my house, don't get us wrong, or at least me wrong. I would love every part of that, of that. I might even try to get my fat butt up there. I don't know, but well, I know, but I'm a liar, so that's all right. Okay. So I think we won't. I'm not going to ask for a motion tonight. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling the good Lord will work in this and find just the right place. So.
Yep, that sounds great.
We'll welcome y'all back.
Yeah,
I want the man there to say something else.
I was just going to say thank you for having us. But yeah, I've got an 8-year-old and 11-year-old boy, and we travel the country BMXing. Good. So we go to Watkins every weekend because there's nothing in Hendersonville for us to work on our bike skills, and other than the muddy trails like they were this weekend. So we just want to build the sport and get kids outside and get them off of video games.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So maybe we should let's just bulldoze 12 and 13 and put a bike track back there. I remember when I was a kid, there was a great one there. I always really wanted this because I was a kid that couldn't, by the time I was big enough to ride my bike on our old course, it got demolished. Right. So I never got a chance to. Yeah. So I'm pumped.
Right. Good deal. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Youth Life Tennis Tournament, Paige. You have been so patient, and I threatened to use you as a battering ram to get in the door. So you have our undivided attention.
My name is Paige Childers. I'm on the committee for Young Life Sumner County, which is basically our local board for Young Life. Young Life is ministry in Hendersonville. We've just expanded to do Young Lives, which is ministry for teen moms. So what we're trying to do is pilot a tennis tournament in order to raise funds, which all of that money goes towards our camp scholarship, which will send these teen moms and their babies to camp in North Carolina this summer. And then also our high school students who go to the public schools, HHS, Beach, Station Camp, Merrill Hyde, they will be going to Colorado this summer at Young Life Camp. And so all money raised at this tennis tournament will go straight towards that camp scholarship, and we're really excited about it, and we're really hopeful about it.
Is this a youth tournament, adult tournament, both?
Yes, so it's a tournament geared. We don't want to restrict demographics or anything like that. Basically, anyone is able to participate. It'll be a doubles tournament, round robin style, going into semifinals to finals. We'll hopefully have 2 brackets, a beginner, intermediate, and then an advanced bracket. We worked with Wade and Brandon Jones to schedule the courts, make sure that he was really involved in the tournament. He basically told us how to run the tournament, which was really great. So yeah, it'll be a doubles, round robin, into semifinals, into finals. And basically anyone who is willing to pay the registration fee will be allowed in.
So is Becker going to be playing?
Becker will not be playing. We want it to be fair to everyone.
I'd have paid admission to that.
Give you a minute to look it over. I'll entertain a motion. I got one from Mr. Head, second from, I believe, Mr. Golden was there. Mr. Head and Mr. Golden, I'm going to look at you next time, I swear. I swear I'm going to do that. I'm used to having Mr. Bowler over there, so. I've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? You did good.
Excellent.
You
Thank
did
you all so
good.
much. That was so easy.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a good night. Special needs preschool track meet. Miss Hamlin doesn't appear to be here, but I bet somebody's going to speak in her stead.
You want to take it? You want me to take it? I'll take this one. This is an event that is a new event for us as a department. We have the preschool track meet in the fall every year. And Ms. Hamlin wanted to add a special needs component, but give it its own day and do it in the spring where it's a totally separate event. I think it'll be, we've had, I can't tell you the amount of emails and phone calls we've had from the community wanting to support the special needs egg hunt, and I think the community will also get behind this today. Our maintenance staff, Jeremy and Keith and Dallas and I got to go to Pier Place today and have them give us decorated cookies at First Baptist Church. And it was, if you ever get the chance to go over there, it'll warm your heart for sure. But this is a segment of the community that Ms. Hamlin does a great job of providing activities and leagues and events for, and I think this could be something that really takes hold. So that's all I have.
Discussion? All motion? Kate?
Got one.
Mr. Frank?
As far as the date and so forth, I know it's at the football field. I'm sure that's been cleared, but I'd like to offer that if for some reason there needs to be a rain date, if somebody could pass along to Ms. Hamlin, I'd be happy to offer Mayor Hyatt as a rain date or an alternate location if needed.
Yeah, it has been passed on to the Flag Football League that date will not be available for games that day, so they're aware.
Very nice. Thank you, Mr. Frank. I will entertain a motion to approve. Mr. Head first, Mr. Pike second. Good Lord, the hands going up everywhere.
You lied to me.
And I still didn't look at you.
You lied.
Hey, give me a week. Come on, give me a week. I'm sorry. That's it. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? There better not be nobody, I can tell you that. Financial report, Sumner County Rugby. It's in your packet there. Oh, well, we got the gentleman here. Go right ahead, sir.
This is my first time doing it, so I'm not really sure what the protocol is. Normally you guys ask questions, so this will be the first time for me running through an annual one, so I'm not sure if there are questions or if there's things I can happy to give a few highlights, high level. I do, so I'm not really sure. Ken, you can help me get through this. You've helped everybody else.
How about telling us what your park improvements were?
So park improvements, we spent roughly, off the top of my head, was like $7,200 on top dressing both fields. We paid to have about 12 truckloads of sand brought in and then spread out. So what we're trying to do, since we did pay during the initial first phase to have the fields laser graded, we are working on trying to put in, we're probably, our hope is, again, depending on the bathroom project that we're in the middle of right now, hoping to top dress for the next 2 years beyond, so 3 years in a row, last year, this year, and next year, and it's roughly about $7 to $10 grand to do that for both fields to get it to where hopefully we'll end up with your Bermuda sports turf on top, grass, and then you'll have roughly maybe a 1/4 inch to inch of kind of sand with the soil below it. So it also helps with the cushion, but also helps with irrigation, and it's better for the grass. So I'm learning a lot. I never would have thought bringing sand in would help out a grass, but it does. So, and it's expensive. So that stuff is not cheap. That's almost all that. And then the remaining part was spraying and fertilizing the fields. We paid for 3 rounds, pre-emergent, some fertilizing and stuff like that. So luckily the fields have taken very nice. We haven't had a whole lot of weed issues or anything to this point. We're trying to continue to stay on top of that. I've already contracted with Lynn Ray, who handles a lot of the park stuff. He's actually going to be out this week to spray our first rounds for pre-emergent and weeds this week. So I can kind of walk through it a little bit, but generally, like where you see like the kind of gate fees, that's mostly going to be most of our tournament revenue. We hosted 2 state tournaments, both the spring and the fall state championships here at the rugby complex for the state, for the high school, middle school levels. Most of that revenue was all dealing with the gate fees and not player fees, but entry fees into those 2 tournaments. The miscellaneous part there on the revenue, during one of the tournaments, after getting a better handle of how this needs to work, we separated one of the line items out that dealt just mostly with T-shirts. So we sold T-shirts at those events. So we usually order around 200 T-shirts. I can get them at cost about around $8.50 a shirt, 9, sell them for $25. So we made probably right around $2,500 on T-shirts, T-shirt sales during those 2 events as part of it. So, but we're a very, the way rugby works, we're a very clean organization when it comes to like the player fees. When you see the line item talk about $4,000 for league registration sanction, that pays for all the players' insurance, pays for all the referees, pays for all the ATCs, all in that. We have an overseeing body within the state of Tennessee that pays all those out. It keeps up with the referees and stuff. So our organization's a little bit less overhead from multiple line items when it comes to some of the way things work.
I got a question, 2 questions, 3 questions. Number 1, how many, off the top of your head, because I've lost count, how many events you think we've had at rugby that have brought people from out of town since we opened these things?
Quite a few.
Like 20?
We're
Getting close to 20?
Well over 10, yeah. I would say we're easily in the 15s by now, for sure. And,
that's been good.
Yeah.
My second question is, under advertising, our whole Parks Department advertising budget is $1,000 for the year. I mean, I would love to have it more, but I'm just curious where that went.
The banners was part.
Yeah.
And then
Which would we get the LED sign, right?
Yeah, and then we also did some Facebook to help get the rookie rugby program off the ground. We did some Facebook targeted ads, and I want to say we've done maybe about $300 roughly through the year in just kind of Facebook target ads that have kind of helped bring some people. So that's really those main 2 expenses there.
I'm proud of you for having that budget. The last thing is, could you give everybody kind of an update, high level, on where we are on the restrooms at this point? Yep. The city has in its budget currently $150,000 to help with the rugby restrooms. It has not gone out to bid yet, and I'll kind of let Brian tell you all where that process is.
Yep. So one of the things that's I think kind of we've been working on that's probably one of the hang-ups in probably getting all this process all the way through a little quicker was I didn't realize what I didn't know about being a contractor. So I thought I had all the right people in place. I had to go out and hire a structural engineer. They're not cheap, but so we brought a structural engineer. We're now have the restrooms fully approved through codes and through everything dealing with the city as far as having the restrooms in order. One of the biggest expenses that may be surprising is to get water and sewer out to the facility from the street is about a $55,000. It's actually more. It's $55,000 just for the actual build out, and then we also, as a city, have to pay White House Utility District the right to get access to their water and sewer, which is another roughly $18,000. So close to $70,000 goes to just getting us the ability to even have a facility out there before we even start getting concrete, the building, the roof, the stalls and everything else put inside. So that's also been a big part of it. But we're getting extremely close. I've been able to get roughly about $45,000 in in-kind donations, labor, and some roofing material. I've got the roof is going to be put on at no cost. I've got the shingles and the tar paper and the insulation, the shingles and roof, all in kind. And then I've got some other in-kind stuff I've worked on as well. So we've done a lot, but we're getting really close to hopefully ready to turn that over and get the bid out to see if we can get that taken care of. So
It's another one of those projects that every city department just about has had a hand in. So
yeah,
appreciate your patience on that.
I know it's a small part of your budget, but the other miscellaneous, can you give a sense for what that is entailing?
yeah,
Since it's over 500?
CPA bill was one. We had to pay for some porta potties during one. We paid for porta potties that end up getting reimbursed back for one of the events that was out there. So I just coordinated it because I've already dealt with the vendor, and then they just reimbursed us back. So I put that in miscellaneous. But the CPA bill, and then the other one I'm learning that I'm going to put this under tournament fees next time. But I did one of the shirt orders was up under the miscellaneous for the shirts we sold. So again, I'm gonna try to make this look more like what we do on an annual basis going forward than what you guys are used to seeing for everybody else.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the only other comment I'd like to make on that scholarships, just so you guys are aware, our board did elect to spend about $650 to send some what we would call needy kids to travel and play up in a couple tournaments in Cleveland with a elite select team. So we spent about $650 on hotel rooms, gas, and some food to get those kids up there. So we had 2 of them go up, and then we're currently possibly going to do something similar to that. I've got 4 of them going to Tampa. A little more expensive getting them down to Tampa, so we're trying to figure that out. But just letting you guys know, that's what the scholarship line item is. Those some scholarships we awarded for some kids to travel that wouldn't be able to go otherwise. So, yep.
Sumner County Rugby? Already done. Okay. Inline hockey, I just did that. Okay, 25.
He's coming up there?
He's coming here.
Good.
There he is.
Thank you. You're my girl.
Hey there.
Yes, sir.
I guess do you guys have our financials? Okay, I'm Red Emerson with HIHA. Our financials, last year we brought in $28,000 in registration fees, $10,000 in donations, $5,500 in sponsorships. Biggest line item on expenses, $11,500. Bought some equipment, goalie equipment, I believe. All the other expenses should be pretty well in line year over year. And we essentially break even on any given year. So obviously we have new facilities. So the registrations were up about 35% over last year, last spring. So that's good. That's good. We've had a tournament there. The tournament fee isn't in these financials because we didn't get the money until January sometime. So we hope that that trend will continue. I know we've picked up some people from Bellevue and some other areas because the other rinks around town are nowhere near as amazing as what you guys built. The surface is awesome. Kids are having a blast out there. We had our evaluations last week and just had our draft. There's a coaches meeting tonight. Dave Gilliam's there. So, do you guys have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes,
I
sir.
get asked probably once every other week about an adult league.
Yes.
Do you have an update on when, if, how?
So there's Randy, Hoffman, and JR are working with 3 individuals kind of in that group that are hounding you about that. And there's definitely interest, but we're just trying to make sure we set up a structure that's sustainable. doesn't seem like it's a lot of work from the outside to even for 180 kids to put on a league, but it turns out it is a lot of work, and so we just have to make sure we have committed people that can do the job right. And JR and Randy are kind of setting the tone for that, sharing their experiences. They've done it for a long time, so I believe that's moving in a positive direction.
The other question I had is, well, I don't mean to put you on the spot because we hadn't talked about it, but do y'all plan on, have you already kicked off the plan that this board approved about selling sponsorships for the boards and things like that? So that's already kicked off?
Yeah, we've had a few bites on that.
Okay.
Last couple of weeks. I can't remember exactly who's done what, but we had a car dealership step up and they did the jersey sponsorship, and then we've sold maybe 2 or 3 dash report ads from I think like Hampton Inn and USS. So
Really surprised that Hampton Inn would buy an ad.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
Shocking.
It's an inside job.
Just to kind of let the board and people watching know, one of the things that wasn't in the original project that we kind of moved some things around was to install safety netting that's going to be right behind the goals. That should be installed hopefully by the end of the month. Kind of our exchange with the hockey club, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, was that they're going to kind of take care of installing the changing room areas that will be in the corners of the facility. And then we kind of figured out a way to do the netting that needed. Our mind was, as a city facility, we need to take care of the safety part of it more so than we need to deal with changing room areas. So if anybody has any questions about that.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
For your information, special events list. Any questions about that Mr. Evans can answer?
Just so everybody does know, on our website, after events are approved here, Dallas worked with the city here too. We actually have a page where you can actually see this list of approved events on our website at all times. So anybody out in the public that's at home or watching this, they can see what's going on. It just gives a brief overview. It doesn't, you guys see what time and type of event on the website. It just says the date, what the event is, and where it's at. So people can see that we've got 6 events going on that weekend. They can't say, well, I had no clue. I didn't see anything about it. Well, they can look on our website. There we go. Look. So there you go.
What are these 3 things highlighted
Yeah, so that's just for me from a color coding perspective. Yellow means it's being done with Chamber of Commerce. If it's highlighted in blue, then it's being done with Sumner Tourism.
Okay. And blue means what?
Sumner Tourism Board, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Orange means maybe. Look, I have ADD. It helps me color coding things.
Settle down, baby. Discipline reports, boy, that's
Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to bring that up.
Yes, sir.
I can't take credit for it. Mr. Frank found this, but in the 2 letters addressed to Quan McKinley and Sean McKinley, it appears there's a typo, or maybe there's a typo, that for 1 calendar year, it looks like until February 23rd, 2022. Should that be 2023?
It should be, and we'll correct that and get it mailed out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Been a while since I taught typing, so I forgot it when I proofread it.
It still troubles me about the discipline thing, but it looks like y'all have got a handle on it. So these are 2 of the more severe disciplines you've come up with in a while, isn't it, Mr. Gillen?
I would say we had a much better disciplinary year than we've had in the past 2 to 3 years when it comes to the basketball league, both youth, high school, and adult.
Good, okay.
Yes.
And you attribute that to what, sir?
Great leadership from the people running the leagues and the officials and the gym supervisors, and from the parks board's emphasis on putting disciplinary measures in place, and leadership all the way to the Supreme Court.
I think we ought to have bouncers. All right, staff reports. Recreation Coordinator, Ms. Hamlin doesn't seem to be there, but I bet somebody is.
Yes, sir. I'll be filling in for Ms. Hamlin this evening.
Go right ahead, Mr. Hamlin.
The Special Needs Basketball League was held at Whitten Elementary. We'd like to thank Mr. Mann for hosting us over there, and we had about 40 people in that league. And also, the group participated in a game at halftime over at the Merle Hyde game. Thank you, Mr. Frank, for sponsoring that, and also over at Station Camp, which was very, very well received in the public and the community. They finished with a pizza party and got trophies at the end of the year. And they want to thank Mr. Josh Skull for donating or paying for a lot of that end of the year pizza party. The Special Needs Baseball season runs April through May at Drake Street Park. Games on Friday evening and Saturday mornings. Cost $35. You can sign up online at hendersonvilleparks.org. The Special Needs Easter Egg Hunt is Thursday, April the 7th at Mary's Magical Place. There are 3 sessions, 3:30, 4:30, and 5:30, maximum of 25. This is a free event, so you need to sign up but you do need to sign up so we make sure knows who's coming. You must be pre-registered, and registration starts actually tomorrow morning, March the 1st, and goes through the 25th. The Kickball League will run Kickball League will pretty much start as soon as the baseball finishes up. They finish baseball one week and then start kickball the next week. Same scenario, games on Friday evening and Saturday mornings. The thing you all discussed this evening, the preschool track meet for special needs, will be held Sunday, May the 1st. 3-year-olds at 1:30, 4-year-olds at 2, and 5-year-olds at 2:30. This will be held on the football field, and it sounds like we got a rain date, a great place if we need to, over at Hyde. Appreciate that. First come, first served basis. That cost is, I believe, $20. Usually everybody walks away with a ribbon on each event for that, and a T-shirt. Yes, if you sign up by April the 8th. And we're always looking for Parks Board volunteers for that event. So if anybody wants to come out and help out with that, would be greatly appreciated. Fishing rodeo is set for Friday evening, June the 10th, for the special needs, and then the regular kids will be on that Saturday morning. I think that's statewide on that date is set. The fishing rodeo is free event for Friday and Saturday. Kids Club, she is still working on the Kids Club information about location, times, money-wise, and so forth. The camp will run June 13th through July 22nd. And that is the end of Ms. Hamlin's report.
Thank you, Mr. Hamlin.
You're welcome.
Special events, Mr. Evans.
I'll also talk about just finishing out. We did finish up our men's league basketball league last Wednesday, and then our softball league will start on March 21st. We have 7 teams, so we will start with that. And then looking at for summer basketball, just because some of the teams are asking, we're going to look at some schools, but we're going to try to do 2 nights a week instead of just Wednesday nights. Last year we had 10 really good teams that played in the summer, but because of the way we're only doing once a week, it ran into August, and it became a problem with some of the players being in college coming home for the summer. They went back to school and their teams lost in like the first round of the tournament. So trying to make sure to condense that to where it's all during the summer. As far as from a special events perspective, I know I wasn't here last month, but thank you for those of you that reached out to me. I'm excited about this opportunity. We've been very busy behind the scenes on these events, as you can see. A lot of it, from my perspective, if you have any questions or if it's not something that you're used to, feel free to ask me. I don't mind explaining how I go about doing things. We all have our own unique ways of how we process and make things happen. I just want these to be successful, but also I want them to be vindicative of what it looks like to be a Parks event. I don't want to cheapen our brand. I want our brand to be very well known, and I want people to respect it and view it as a great opportunity to use our brand. So that's why we have a new logo. That's why you'll see it like our Wall of Fame ceremony on Thursday. Those colors, the branding, that's all very, synonymous with events moving forward.
Sure proud of you for moving into that new position. Couldn't be a better person, I don't think. So maybe one of my relatives. Parks Maintenance, Mr. Gannott.
Good evening, everyone. Maintenance staff's been busy working on finishing up some winter projects. We ended up doing about 45 different winter projects on top of the guys have been averaging 30-plus work orders a week. I can keep track of that so much better now with our new app-based work order. Can't tell you how excited I am about that. I've already cut some outfields a couple times this year. Hard to believe, but we have. So that's been interesting, doing a little mowing already. We've got field painting, lining going on at soccer this week. Our little robot Toad was busy today. I took a video, and I think Andy was going to post it on Facebook. So I checked earlier, Andy. It didn't show up, so you may check that. But I would tell you all to take a look at the little video. It's neat to see him driving around out there. It's funny how many people make comments about that and like to see it, so that's interesting. We are still recruiting for part-time maintenance staff. If interested, please call 615-822-3898. Request an application. We'll get one to you. And also wanted to give a thank you to Big Bub, and he's not here tonight. He brought us a big pan of smoked bologna about a week and a half ago, and many, many people enjoyed it, including me. So if anybody's got any questions, let me know.
He had trouble keeping that lit, It was a joke, but don't worry about it. Assistant Director, Mr. Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Spring sports is officially underway when they can get on the fields between all the rain. Lacrosse will host their first game of the season tomorrow night under the lights at Volunteer Park. They'll be out there this week, and then they'll move over to Memorial with next week with the time change happening. So they'll be excited to be able to host lacrosse for probably one of the first times underneath the lights. Rugby will also be playing their first home games this Saturday. Middle school soccer's first games were tonight, and Tennessee United's first games will be this Sunday out at Drakes Creek Park. Rec soccer has had one night on the fields, and then they've been pretty much rained out, but their first games won't be until after spring break on March 26th. They do have 124 teams, so between rec soccer and Tennessee United, we continue to grow crazily with soccer. We are dealing with an issue out at soccer. We had a lightning strike on one of our poles, so we've sent that off to insurance, and we're just waiting to hear back on that. Luckily, it's just one pole, so we're not losing a complete field, but we are trying to figure out the schedules around that pole right now. Flag football registration ends today for that. Last check on Friday, there were right around 600 players and 60 teams, so flag football continues to be our second growing sport, and we just need field space for them. We have identified Volunteer Park as a practice area this year where they can practice Monday through Friday out there. We haven't been able to offer like a real field for flag football in the past, so we're excited to be able to offer that up. And then lastly, basketball ended this past Saturday, so we just want to thank our schools, principals, athletic directors. We would not be able to offer that program each year without our school support, so thank you to all those.
Questions? Thank you, Mr. Long. Assistant Director, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you, sir. As Dallas said, the youth basketball finished up Saturday. We had championship day, 12 different championships or 12 different divisions on Saturday. We'd like to thank Civitan for running that basketball program. Also like to thank Chris and Natalie Ginn. Chris is the basketball director, and Natalie, his wife, have done a really good job. It's a lot of work. People don't realize how much time and effort and issues, to be nice, they deal with for the last 4 months. So I really appreciate what they have done for the program and for Civitan. The Fast Pitch League, the evaluations are this Sunday, and then they'll start practicing the week after they get teams set. Practice for hockey actually begins tomorrow night. They have their parent meeting tonight, as he said, and then they will start practicing tomorrow night, pretty much every day of the week from now on. The Fast Pitch Middle School League has games going tonight, makeup games. This is their, I think, second week or maybe no, third week. Got rained out last week, so they're basically playing 3 to 4 nights this week to catch back up. 8 teams, and they're doing quite well. Middle school baseball, they've been practicing a little bit, and they are going to start games, I believe, this week also. Civitan Baseball, the grades basically, 6 through 12-year-olds, have been practicing for a couple weeks and working with Scott on getting a game schedule ready for them. Tentatively going to start the 21st after spring break. So a lot of stuff going on, moving parts with them on the rainouts and so forth. And then the high school teams, Beach, Hendersonville, baseball and softball, have been practicing as when they can. And they've got a couple more weeks of practice, and then they will start games the week of the 14th of March. We do have a fast pitch tournament this weekend with Mr. Crook at Station Camp High School. It's a one-day, it's a play day technically because their season hadn't started, so it'll be a one-day event. I believe he's on 7 fields all day on Saturday. So come on out to the park and see us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, young man. Any questions? Parks Director, Mr. Gilly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Brown had to sneak out before I was going to thank the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for their mid-year budget. We had some things added to our budget as far as upgrades, giving us a chance to do some improvements to facilities like the skate park, disc golf, hopefully started a study on pickleball, several things like that. Soccer, able to buy a mower that we'll be able to use on all our grass athletic fields, but mainly soccer. So appreciate the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for supporting us on that. It was a good mid-year process for sure. Coach Jones is extremely busy over at the tennis facility. I sent you all an update on that. We're excited to have a college tennis tournament coming to town. That's going to be really cool to have. And he's also working on a schedule for spring and summer that we can utilize some of the tennis courts for pickleball, which I know the public is anxious to get those dates. I did want to thank once again Sumner County Tourism and the State of Tennessee Tourism for their support at the Johnny Cash ceremony we had this past Saturday. It was a great event attended by a lot of people in the community, and looking forward to the Lefty Frizzell on March 10th at 1 o'clock, Saunders Ferry Park, shelter number 8. You all are welcome to attend. The public is welcome to attend. There will be a reception following in the shelter. Dallas and Keith both mentioned thank you to the schools, thank you to our gym supervisors, the Hendersonville Officials Association, players, volunteers, coaches, everybody that made the basketball season a success. We definitely could not do that without them. We have noted that there are hockey tournaments March 19th and 26th, and we're going to try to have an official ribbon cutting for the hockey facility on Saturday, April 2nd, before the Hockey League's first official league games. We wanted the kids to be there and be involved in that and not just be a bunch of us old people and politicians in hats and cutting a ribbon. We wanted the kids there, so hopefully they will be able to be there. At our next meeting, we'll put on the agenda to vote for chairman and vice chairman and to establish the 3 to 4 subcommittees that we have. That is my report. I do want to say thank you all. This, we kind of joke around and have a good time as a Parks Board, which we should, but meetings like tonight where there were some tough, interesting topics, I appreciate you all giving thought to them and kind of helping give us direction how to proceed with things. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilly. Round table, Ms. Rathert.
Yes.
Go right ahead. Anything you want to say?
Man, we have to learn how to punch this without flipping it over.
No cuss words, please.
No, thanks for everybody being so welcoming. I look forward to working with all of you.
You're welcome. You're quite welcome here. Mr. Bennett.
No, just welcome Jill to the board. Looking forward to having you and looking forward to this busy spring we're going to have.
Mr. Frank? Nothing? Mr. Golden?
Yep, just welcoming you, Ms. Mather, to the board, and I'm excited to have a chance to work with you. And while he's here, congratulate Brian as a Jameson Wharton Sportsmanship Award winner, which for this year he will be recognized this week at the Wall of Fame. So congratulations. Thank you for all you do.
Mr. Fike, I feel like we got a divorce here somehow. Do I have to pay alimony?
Do I steal his seat?
I'm in the seat.
I can't even hear you. Mr. Bowler?
I was late tonight, so.
Mr. Bowler? Mr. Head?
Welcome to the board, Jill, Jeremy. All the park improvements that you did, you can tell they're very obvious. When you walk into several places, it's a lot brighter. So, and Brian, congratulations, and Wade, congratulations again.
And thank you to Jason in the IT room back there, hooking us up.
If not, we'll see you Thursday night, 6 o'clock dinner, and then once everybody gets their food and everything, we'll start the ceremony after that. Yeah, we'll see you. It's at Country Hills, just to make sure. Country Hills.
One last thing. A lot of the members on the board here have made mention of the maintenance people and what a job they do. You know, I think we relegate maintenance people to just names. I mean, just people, not names. You know, the maintenance people, I've seen them working late into the night. I hear it from Griffin all the time about that. We just relegate them to people and not names. As hard as they work, I want to say, as far as I'm concerned, they're the ones that have built the park. They're the ones that have built the park. Go ahead.
They all make us look really good up here.
Well, they make the part. Mr. Gilly's always very kind to bring them up, and sometime or other I'd show enough to give them a special day somewhere. I'd like to. We'll talk about that. I want to give them a special day on me.
Well, they still have to work that day, or?
Me and Bo have been talking.
That's right.
I'll accept a motion, Mr. Bennett here, second, Ms. Renther.
I'll second.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're out of here.